Folks, may put your computer screens down and take a look. Jerry may want to record or do whatever you need to do. Go back to here. It's really killing me this Monday off. I hate this. Assignments. Ryan. Download file. I don't know if it's downloading. Yep, it did already. Ignore. So Ryan, you know when your images are located somewhere on your computer. So just copy and paste them using Paint, and that way it embeds them in here. But is it important for this? Not so much.
So we don't have to have the pictures?
Well, I'd like you to eventually, because when you're all done, when the presentation is due, you're gonna copy your web page as a PDF doc, and you're gonna upload your AutoCAD file, in case I need to get in and take a good hard look at stuff. Yes?
If you insert the image, would that potentially work also?
No, if you insert it, it's gonna definitely XREF it.
It's gonna add that.
So we're gonna copy and paste it from Paint, exactly the way I did the class.
Thank you.
I've never had a problem because I did it in front of you and then I emailed it to everyone, like, also the image, so. This one looks like it's fun, right? I'm like, now, what's fun about this one, John, maybe it'd be better if you looked up here and then, unless you know how to do this, you know? Yeah, I know.
I'm recording it.
Oh, good. All right. So, Omar? Unless you know how to do this. Like, I think I do. No, you don't. Listen, this is only for your own good. I already know how to do this. Actually, I had a student in my office hours this morning. It's like, how do you know, just drawing some of the 3D elements. He's like, please, I'm like, how do you know how to do this? And I'm like, I forced myself to learn it all by myself, so I don't look silly in front of you folks, so I can then do this effortlessly. He was just amazed, like, how do you get to do this? You need to spend time, that's the only thing. I know it's preaching again. You should see my daughter when I start talking to her. She goes, I don't want to hear it, Dad. Forget it. Imagine having me as a parent. Oh boy. You're probably like, do I need to? So I'm going to throw this into 3D. First thing I'm going to do. Now I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to lock this stuff. What layers it is. it's kind of grouped, which I like. I'm just gonna copy this. Get this out of the way. I'm just gonna bring this over here, just for funsies. I'm just gonna get rid of this. I should really turn this off. Now, is it easy to find? Is it this stuff? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's all I need to do. All right. This wants to move. This wants to be grouped. And I'm gonna take and move this. From here to here. So this is really, because it wants to be 40 feet from the water. It's a minor thing, but don't worry about it. Just fix it on all of your diagrams, so you don't get yourself into trouble. Oh, I'm sorry. What? You're right. That's movable. The diagram. Oh, the diagram thing was locked. That's why it didn't come out. I have to make sure this clears stuff, but we won't worry about that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this layer. The cables, I'm going to take and lock those too. This thing I'm going to take, and what's the title of this one?
Opening 2.
Opening 2. Opening 2. Lock that. Now I'm going to take and copy that and that, and I'm going to go over. I need ortho on, because if I don't, I'm going to go over 12 feet. This layer is new members. I'll make that current. I have to make sure. Yeah, that's what I want. I'm going to copy this. Is all this bracing business. Get trouble on that. Thank you. This is a bit of a tedious process. Like, ugh, I don't even like this. I got most of them done. This gets a, oops, see, he's out in space. See? I gotta find an angle. I got a lot. I'm gonna turn off the cables, because I don't think I need them on. more stuff in the way. I'm gonna turn this thing off too. Pick, 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 pick. There's probably other ones I wanna do, but I'm like, cage is looking pretty good. If I was really on the ball, I would have done just this cage and then this one. Yep. Now, I need to put this ice cream scoop in. Here's where it gets a little tricky. So now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna turn on I'm gonna do a front view. I'm gonna draw a circle. I'm just gonna draw it here. I'm gonna extrude. I don't really like that spot. I'm gonna take and move this thing vertically up until I get to, actually I'm gonna put it back in 3D orbit. I'm gonna move him to that line. Now I'm a 3D rotate. Now I'm gonna pull him over to here. Oops. Now I'm gonna put him into shaded. So he's not gonna sit there. I'm gonna move him out to here. So now I've got this thing. Now I've got my bridge that's gonna sit in here. I'm gonna attach him on. So the bridge is gonna be opening too. I'm gonna take a move. Actually, I'm gonna leave him there. He's going to slide out. So I'm gonna take and copy. I can't do anything, he's locked. I'm gonna copy him 12 feet over. He's gonna, right now, this piece right here is blocking them. So I'm gonna take that piece, trim this. He's not gonna let me do it. I'm gonna click on him, bring him from here to here. and this one back here, from here to here. So now he's free to rotate. Opening 2, I'll put him on opening 2. I could do a couple more bracings in here to make him really look cool. I could I'll just do a couple more little braces. Every time I X brace these, kind of helps. Copy. I don't want that nearest. Line. I'm just going to draw a line from here to here. Put one more brace in here. All right, so I've got this. I can fiddle around with a couple more braces. I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to copy just move them out. So now I've got something I'm going to explode. So now he's all, I'm going to ungroup. These are all now parts. I'm going to convert them to member. See if it convert. Okay. Now I'm going to group. I'm going to take and move him back to I'm going to lock him. Move. I put it on 2D wire because I can't find. Now I got this thing out here. I'm going to take him and extrude him further out. I'm going to bring him to sort of Now I've got to take this and attach him to this. So I'm actually going to draw a line. Opening. I'm going to create a new one. Put on the 0 layer. Here. To here. So that's where he is. I'm going to draw a line from here down to here. So now I've got a brace that's going to go on him. I'm going to do the same thing. This point over to that point, and then I'm going to draw a line from here down to this joint. That's not the spot I want. I screwed that one up. He wants to go from here over to here. Nope. He wants to go from here, perpendicular, to there. Now they're going the way I want. I'm going to take and convert members. Up, member. Pick, 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 pick. Oops. Member C convert, sorry, not reading. So now if I put this back into so I have this grabbing on to this. Now I've got to actually hold this piece out because it's going to rotate. So I'm going to throw him in. I'm going to create two collars for this dowel. I'm going to do a circle. I'm going to extrude. I'm going to take and move. I'm going to 3D rotate. Oops. I'm going to take and move them to here. Then I'm going to take and move this collar. I'll put one there. I'm going to copy one there. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to throw one somewhere out here. I'm going to go back to wireframe. I'm going to take and copy that and that geometry, and I'm going to bring it from here to here to here. And then I'm going to draw a line from here to here, another line from here to here. So let's take a look at this in 3D. That hits that collar, that hits So this one really is in the wrong spot. They're too low. So I'm gonna take and grab them and bring them up to the center. I have to draw a line. Center. Center. Now I'm going to grab that and bring it up to the midpoint of that. Now you say to yourself, boy, this really gets to be hairy. It can get really hairy. I'm going to take him and bring him down to a joint. All right, so now I'm going to get rid of him, so I don't really need him. And I'm going to copy that, that, and that. And I'm going to go from here to here. So now I've got some braces to hold that. Now I've got this structure out here. I'm like, how do I get this thing going? I'm going to copy that, that, that. I'm going to go from there to there. Now I'm going to draw a line from here to here. Perpendicular. Is that one? It's going to the wrong spot. It wants to be there. Draw a line from here to here. Line from there to there to there. A line from there to there. A line from there to there, and a line from there to there. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this and I'm like, how do I brace all this stuff and hold that? Now I'm like, I'm gonna brace a couple more things because this is sitting out in the middle of nowhere. Take a line from here to here. I'll do one from here to here, and I'll do one from here to there. It's like, now it looks like a complete mess. Like, Joe Betts, what did you do? Making a mess of things. I'm going to take this thing and turn it off for a sec. And this right here this is called, this is opening 2, right?
Yeah.
Opening 2. I'm going to take him what is this thing? This should be under members. I'm going to change him to file player opening 2, if I can. All right. I'm going to put that on opening 2 also. take, and this is locked, right? No, I'm gonna lock it. I can turn them off for that. Oops, I don't want that. Now I'm gonna take this guy and I'm gonna convert to members. Now I'm gonna put all these other layers back on. Opening. Take a good hard look at him right now. Oh, I need to put the axle back on. What did I draw the axle as? There we go. I'm gonna match. So now I've got this thing, I've got a structure, I've got a brace, I've got it holding up here, I've got it attached to this. Eventually I've got to put a gear out here and I've got to put something to rotate. I mean, I can draw that, but do you really need to do that? I'm like, eh. So I would draw whatever gear you have, you're gonna put on here, and then whatever pieces that you're gonna push or pull in order to get this thing to rotate. Now when I'm done, I'm gonna group that, 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 that. Oops. My group this, 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 done. Now, let's say I want to show how this thing rotates. When I animate it, that's locked. I've locked myself out. Opening. All right, everyone see how that works? So this now rotates this up about this point. And over here, I'm gonna have a gear that rotates this. These things are gonna come down. You can push them or pull them, however you wanna do that. You have to set up some pulleys, but now you can see how this bridge would actually function. You can put a mass element. Joanna's so excited she dropped her video. from there. You've gotta do the cables. You gotta put the road bed in. The road bed's really easy. This eventually get changed to something else. And you can put the road bed in the bottom of that, so you can see. Now, how do you do the cables? I'm gonna put the cables on. And then underneath here, you have to put bracing underneath here. So cables, 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 cables. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a circle. I put it on wire, so I can't see what I'm doing. Circle. We'll make the circle 1 inch. Sweep. Now you got your cables in, so the cables read differently. And when you're done, once you've done them all, you can plunk them in. Now you've got, oops, oh, it's too wide, it's too wide. There we go. So you're like, wow. So how fast am I gonna knock this thing out? I don't know, an hour and a half. But how long did it take me in front of you guys? Maybe 45 minutes? So I had to think about how to move it, how to attach the movement, how to brace the movement, how to hold it on, how to put this thing on. The last thing is, how do I actually take those things, I'm gonna squeeze them. So I may have to have gears that push or pull to do that. That's the last thing, but each one of these steps you can build, put the line work in. Sometimes you don't wanna erase all the line work, or you wanna keep this line work, because you're gonna have to use those snap points in order to get this thing to work. But at the end of the day, so there we go. Now, this is only grouped, but, so now you get a sense of how I drew this in 3D. But every time you think of something, how do you attach it? How do you make it work? How do you think it through? So you're taking a concept and you're sort of making it work. How do you hold on to stuff? So I have these, you know, I had to put these collars to hold the shaft that's gonna rotate, because it can't just float out there. Then how do I hold those collars to support them and hold them up? Each one of these becomes a step. So the other thing is I'm gonna recommend is go take a look at a couple websites, see how they actually thought things through. So from the last class, I'd probably take a look at Roy's, I would take a look at Michael's, I would take a look, guy in the corner, I'm not sure, it was Fernando? No, but there's a couple ones you want to take a look at and say, oh yeah, that's how they thought this thing through. This 3D work of spatially getting things in place and finding spots. Notice I worked in 2D, in wire diagram, and I put it into 3D to be able to see what happened. I use this as a plan. I could have slid this further out, you know, it's kind of a guess. These are the collars that hold it. This is the structure. How did I brace it all the way back in order to make sure it didn't rotate? I don't really want a plane out there. So everything gets kind of braced back. So this is how I'd take Ryan's solution and make it work. You gotta think both. So that's what we're gonna do for next Wednesday. I need you to develop this in 3D. I took this whole thing, copied it, I put the ortho on, and I copied it 12 feet over. All right. For some of you that have things drawing inside this cage, if the center to center is 12 feet, this is important. And each member is a foot thick. 6 inches and 6 inches, that's 11 feet of clearance if you're gonna raise something up into that structural cage. Many of you have that. Nathan, you're fading fast. You're like, ah. So when you offset those, that's gonna be 10 foot, and you're gonna make the member 1 foot and 1 foot, that's 6 inches and 6 inches. That brings you to 11 feet. That's the inside of what this cage is gonna be. So when you start to think that thing through, you gotta see, how do I, so if you're coming up into the cage and you want this to work, it can't be the same 12-foot width. Because the 12-foot center to center, and then a foot and a foot, it's 11 feet face to face. So, like you say, so, do we do this in architecture? Yes, all the time. When I'm building stuff spatially, I've got beams and columns and stuff in the, I have to think this thing through to make sure it clears. And you say, do we really? And in this BIM environment, you're gonna be forced into making sure it works. 20 years ago, we would draw 2D lines and prayed. Please, God, make it work, I don't wanna get sued. That's not gonna happen today. You folks actually now can draw it in 3D. That's the good thing. So you're gonna have less conflicts in the field, but it means you have to sit and think this thing through. Keep this on a block, because eventually, next week I'm gonna show you this animation tool, and we're gonna rotate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're actually gonna take screenshots of it, and that's how we get those things to animate. It's sort of like Walt Disney, you know? But yeah, that shows you how it works and how it moves. So this project goes kind of quickly, like, how'd they do that? I know, you're like, he's moving too fast for me. Fernando, that's what Fernando did. Come on. Diagrams, 3D objects, diagrams, right? Table. He decided to take this and that. This is the animation of how you put it together. Make sure you keep this so you can show this process. That's why a lot of times I'll copy and copy and copy. So if I do a couple things, I'll copy and move it over. I always have the geometries and the line work. This is how this thing works. So he's gonna animate this. So Ryan, for example, would animate how that thing would squeeze, the gear on it, how it would actually squeeze, and how that thing would rotate. So that's what he winds up doing. He's got this video here, which is funsies. And then he shows how it works. So how do you do this? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 different images that are sewn together in order to get this to work. And he's got his drawings. So, not terribly difficult. Let's take a look at Roy. Oops. Roy's is kind of complicated. We'll take a look at his. Roy's 3D objects, diagrams. He decides to use this thing. Here's the animation of the transformation. This is going to be important. So keep every time you go to draw something, do that. Can you see me? Hold on. What's up?
We have continuous class, I give you signature.
What's this one? I'll stop by, a little bit, check with you. All right, so this right here is the animation. And then he's got his movement. And then he's got how it works inside. Now this thing actually has to sit inside this structure. Here's one that actually climbs in. So this is 12 feet. This is really only 12 foot center center. This one's 10 feet because 10 feet plus 6 inches and 6 inches, that's 11. And 12 minus 6 and 6 is 11. So that's why you've got to make this work. You know what I'm saying? Like center line, and you've got the box. And then your movement component is going to be in here. So this right here is 10 foot, 12 foot. No, you're not going to get it to work. It's going to hit. Say something. In architecture, the process that we took a look at, taking something using as a prototype, diagramming it out, putting these concepts together as diagrams, coming up with a new idea, and then making it work it encompasses everything we do as designers. That's, say, well, why don't we do buildings? I'm like, this process forces everyone to really focus on the process and also use this three-dimensional spatial stuff, because you have to do this. You have to start thinking like this. Now, for me, you know, I was able to whip that thing through, but then again, I'm looking at the plan. Notice sometimes I drew dot lines and they weren't exactly what I wanted. I'm like, all right, I gotta go move that. In 3D, I can move things vertically. I can see what's happening. And in the floor plan, I can move things to get them, like when I did the axle, I kind of guesstimated out. Right? It's tricky. You got a whole week to work on this, which is what I want. So what I want to do is I want to check off, like, which one do I want you to develop? Ryan, I didn't do the full thing because I need you to think this thing through yourself. But this was an interesting one. It wasn't just a lift or a, this was a slightly different thing. So that's why. So, best bet is to take your table, upload it again to the 3D tables, 3D assignment, and I can check one off.